Hello there, this is DBT, and this Art of Runes. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt 8, and today we will resume doing the Run of the Bulls, the multiplayer series in which I play exclusively with Lamborghini, and today we're gonna do the quote-unquote high-class A cars. And the previous video we did the low class, the first 3 Lambos in Class A, and now we're gonna do the last 3 Lambos in Class A, don't worry, it makes sense. So, you know how this goes. If you enjoy my content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, because remember that I post literally daily, so go ahead, do it for me. But alright, let's get into some multiplayer and see what we can do. And like I said, we're gonna be starting with the Lamborghini Countach LPI 800-4. Now, this is of the rank of 1771. The previous Lambos that we looked at were 1770, that's why I said that they're the lower tier, I suppose, I don't know, whatever. So yeah, here we go, Countach, here are the stats at Pro with tuning kit, in case you care about that. So let's jump in and find some races. So I was just thinking, how difficult is it to get the Countach LPI? I know that I got it through its, was it a festival still? Yeah, I think it was before they got renamed to Car Hunt. I think I got it through its festival. I had to go premium for it. I had to fight in order to get the kits for it, but eventually I was able to pro it out, and I was very happy about it because it was probably amongst the first Lambos that, let's say, the newest Lambos that got it added into the game that I could get right away. I don't know if that makes sense or not, because the SCV... No, you know what? There's other ones, like the SCV-12, I think the SC-20. Basically what I'm saying is, by the time I started playing this game in, I believe it was 2020, the vast majority of the Lambos in the game were already there. So then, in a way they felt old to me, even though something like the Sian, I think it was released in the same year that I started playing, only some months earlier. To me it felt quote-unquote old, simply because there were Lambos that were existing already in the game. I don't know why I went for the jump, that's a terrible move. Well done, DBT. This is gonna be a bad result in my first race. But yeah, so any Lambos that came out as I was playing, you know, in real time as I was playing the game, you know, that wasn't already in the game files, it felt like such a feat for me to get, you know, like such an accomplishment. Not accomplishment, because at the end of the day, all you had to do was pay $10 and you get the car. But then again, maybe this one was free. Honestly, I can't remember anymore, I'm telling you. This game has gone through so many changes, that, I don't know, it's kind of difficult for me to figure out exactly, was this free, was it not? Hey, I got beaten by a Veyron. Oh, actually, that is the Strong Veyron. That is the newer Veyron. Camaro, very good accelerators. I did beat an SC20, old Veyron, Forzilla P1, and a Diablo. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful car that Diablo is. Whatever was the way in which I acquired this car, whether it was free in a festival or it was premium or what, the main thing about me feeling proud about these cars is the fact that I upgraded them. Obviously, that sounds very basic because that's what you do with any car. But you know, me being a Lambo collector and being able to get this car and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna upgrade it. In fact, I think it was this, was it this car? I think it was this car that I fought really hard to get like top percentage in, yeah, I think this was still a festival. It must not have been a car hunt yet. Because I do remember there were, for festivals, cops specific with the car in order to get kits, I believe? I don't remember. The point is that I needed to get into a really top percent, and I did a crazy lap with this thing. I practiced a lot, and I managed to get indeed into, was it 1% or something like that? I don't remember. But yeah, the point is that, man, having these cars, absolutely, getting them in real time and being able to upgrade them, and all, it was like, oh yeah, because at the time that I was, I'm fine. Well, there goes my race. Come on, I was looking good for a second place, and that mother lover just pushed me onto the wall. Really? Really, buddy? Jesus Christ. Oh, someone crashed. Let's go. Yeah, by the time that I was at this point in the game, I was already, you know, I had the resources to upgrade the cars. I just needed the kits. And by resources, I mean fusion coins. You know, the kits and all of that. Whatever. How good or bad is this car? I'll tell you in the next race. For now, just look at that position right there in the middle, despite being pushed into the divider. So, in a few words, the car's pretty good. Is it amazing? Probably not, but it's still pretty good. So one of the peculiarities about this car, I mean, just talking in general about the performance, yeah, I mean, it has decent acceleration, it has goodish nitro, it has goodish drift. You know, it's not, I don't think I can say that it's amazing at anything, but it's not bad at anything either. So it's a comfortable car. The peculiarity about this car is the engine sound. While it is the engine sound that we have heard a lot in Lamborghinis, what really caught my attention is the fact that this car doesn't over-rev when you're driving it on the ground. Ah, Jesus! Sure, why not? So when you jump, the car's gonna do the classic over rev that you've heard in a lot of other Lambos. Like, wow. That, right? You heard it. But listen how when it's gonna shift gears while on the ground, it doesn't do it. You heard that it just went low, and then here goes the over rev on jumps. But when it's on the ground, it doesn't do it. And I believe that this is the only Lambo with this engine sound to not over rev like that. Why is that? Is that a feature? Is that a bug? I don't know, listen. See, only when I jump it does the but on the ground it doesn't do it. It's a really peculiar thing, and actually I hadn't even noticed it myself. It was only when Abhinav, a member from the House of Rooms, which I don't know if he's still there in the server, link is in the description by the way, he pointed this out to me and I'm like, oh wow, you're actually right. You know what? This was such a race with that weird jump that I'm gonna have to do one more race. I was planning to do only 3 with this car, but we're going for a 4th one. Now, like I said, I don't know if this is a bug or a feature, but I could easily say that it's a feature. Not that it affects the car in any way, shape, or form, but this car, IRL, it's a hybrid. It is one of the few hybrids that Lamborghini did before the Revuelto. Much like the Sian, this uses supercapacitors instead of a lithium-ion battery. What does that mean? Well, I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because I'm not that knowledgeable on it, but I do believe that what electrical power this car has, it uses precisely for the shifting of the gears. So I don't know if maybe because this is a hybrid, it's meant to, in the game, I mean, it's meant so that it uses the electric power to shift at the right time, and that's why it doesn't over rev. I don't know, I'm really making it up, because if that was the case, then the Sian should be the same, and the Sian does over rev. So I don't know, maybe they just wanted to make this sound a little bit different somehow by removing that over rev while you're on the ground. I have no idea, but I think it's a little neat detail for this car if you pay attention to it. So listen to that. You see how there's absolutely no over revving? I think that's a very interesting little detail on this car. Again, unique to this Lambo. So hey, cheers for that, I guess. I don't know. 4th place. All right, like I said, it's a pretty usable car. No king in any way, shape, or form, but very usable. Very usable. I got defeated by 2... Well, actually, you know what? I don't even know how good or bad this car is. I have never seen anybody driving this, but yeah, the 911 GT3, yes, that is a very strong car. The Tomato P72, it's okay. So yeah, I would say this is a middling result, although I did beat a Camaro in the Benz edition, 177, whatever. You know that multiplayer is completely random, so this doesn't tell us a whole lot of anything. And now, the Lambo that I don't like very much. The Lamborghini SC20, another Lambo of 1771, same rank as the previous one. Now, well... here's the stats. I'll say why I don't like it so much. I think you probably know, but hey, I gotta mention it again because it's worth mentioning again. In the previous video, I did talk how the SVJ is considered one of the best Lambos, if not the best Lambo of the 1770 rank, not bracket, rank. 1770, the SVJ is the best. In 1771, this is considered the best Lambo. Again, 1771 rank, not bracket. Well, then some people would still argue that this is probably the best Lambo in all of Class A, so man, I tell you, at least in looks, it isn't. Alright, so what's the deal with this? You know me, but if you're new to my channel, you never listen to me ranting about this type of cars. I just don't like headless cars. I call headless cars those that don't have roof nor windshield. Because I can understand convertible cars, I can understand roadsters. They're still not my favorites, especially convertibles when they modify the oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, God. I just didn't want to get pushed against the divider. When they're convertibles, they tend to modify a lot the shape of the engine cover on the back, which is the case of the Huracan Spider Evo. That's why I don't like it all that much. But when it comes to roadsters, it's fine. They look mostly the same. But in particular, cars that don't have a windshield either, I just don't like them. This is why I call them headless cars, because it's like it's missing the whole upper side of the car, the whole upper part, you know? What did I say? It's a good car. I just don't like how it looks. Okay. I'll be fair. I do like how this car looks. I would love it so much more if it was a coupe. But all the shapes of the car and all of that, except for the top side, of the lack of topside, it looks pretty dope. In fact, this car reminds me a lot of the SE18, excuse me, I'll talk more about that at some point. Alright, 177s, they're for GT, Dart X. Alright, I didn't match against any proper straight-up King, but the 177s are very strong cars, so this could definitely keep up. So, when I said that I don't like headless cars, plural, there's already a couple in Lamborghini. In fact, to my knowledge, I believe that there's 3 cars like this. Obviously, we have this one, the SE20. There is also the Aventador J, which is like an Aventador LP700, just, you know, modified to not have a head. And I think there is also a, I believe it's a Gallardo. Like, I know that DD did a Huracan in this style, but that it's something that they modified themselves. But no, by Lamborghini themselves, there was a Gallardo that also did not have a roof or a windshield. But that's not all. There's been others, you know, the McLaren, what is it called? Is it the Elva? I think it's the Elva. We got the Aston Martin Speedster. We have the Ferrari Monza. Yeah, there's several of this style, and I don't know. I just don't find them appealing. I don't even like them aesthetically speaking. I don't know. There's something about a car that has the upper third shaped off that looks off to me. I don't like them. What can I say? But all right, first place, baby! I'm telling you, it's a strong car. It do be strong car. Dart X, ZR1, 01, Aventador SVJ, Veyron, and a Diablo. Ooh, Diablo. Wait, oh, did I just rank up? Because I don't got my button over here. Okay, cool. Yes, I ranked up to Elite, but I was already in Elite. How did you rank down, DBT? All right. Here's where I want you to be really honest with me in the comments. Did you notice that this is being played in a completely different multiplayer season? Look at the race counter. Yeah, this video in particular is played in a completely different multiplayer season. There's reasons for that I may or may not get into. I just lost the recording. Yeah, I had already recorded this over a week ago, or around a week ago, but unfortunately that file, I don't know what happened with it, it disappeared. I must have deleted it by accident, and I'm like, oh great, now I'm missing that one video. The funny part is that the next 2 episodes where I finish playing the Run of the Bulls, it's recorded in the previous season. So yeah, it's a bit of a mess. It's fine, don't worry about it. So, I want you to write in the comments, I did notice DBT, or I didn't notice DBT. That's all. You don't need to say anything else. Just leave that. If you want to tell me something else, yeah, put another comment. The more comments, the better, by the way, so yes. I'm just curious to see who many of you were paying attention to that. Because I do, well, this is not a protest. This is not a part of the protest series, obviously. But you know that I make a lot of emphasis on the fact that I don't skip races, you know. I don't cherry pick. Whatever happens, happens. It all gets recorded. But I was just thinking, does anybody even care about that? I don't know if anybody does. I care. I'll tell you that I care. I don't like the dishonesty of showing you cherry pick races in pretending like they're not, you know? So I would rather show you whatever is happening, and that is that. But yeah, at some point I thought like, hey, maybe, whoa, dude, Jesus, you almost made me crash on that thing. Jesus Christ. I was just really curious, like, well, maybe people don't even are not paying attention. Jesus, I messed up the horse barrel roll. People don't even pay attention to the whole thing of the races being consecutive and in which league it is. Is this really the next race and whatnot? I don't know. I think that this is a curious experiment. Accidental experiment, but curious experiment nonetheless. I got defeated by the Dodge that at some point just shot ahead of me, but still, not a bad result. Oh, look at that. 911 Road Edition and 2 177s. Alright, cool. That does it for the headless Lambo. Let's switch to a Lambo that I actually like a lot. Like, you know, a lot. And of course, I'm talking about the king of the 1770 brackets in Lambo terms. The Lamborghini Diablo GT, let's go back. Now, I have a very fancy livery for this car, and I love it. I absolutely love it. You know what? All right, I wasn't gonna be using this livery because I do like the car in just plain yellow. But you know what? Since I'm recording this so close to Ferruccio Lamborghini's birthday, I think it makes sense to bring the big Lamborghini decal. So let's do that. Oh, and did you see this new female version of Jason? I think it looks okay. It looks nice, I would say. All right, so what is the deal about the Lamborghini Diablo? Now, I just called it the king of the Lambos of Class A, right? Is it really the king, and is he undisputed king? I wouldn't say that. I think this is a very good car that shines a lot now thanks to ghosting at the start of the races. But is it the king? I don't know. So the deal about this car is that it has great handling, it has great drifting, it has great nitro. What is not great about, alright, maybe I'm exaggerating, it's not great at any of those things, it's pretty good. Nothing, you know, like absolutely extraordinary, but it's still pretty good. But the part that would make this car sort of weak is the acceleration. That is not to say that it has bad acceleration, more like it doesn't have especially good acceleration. It's okay, it's serviceable, but it's nothing that is gonna blow your mind by, oh my god, it can defeat Camaro IEs. No, it's not like that. And because of that, this car was, Jesus Christ, was overlooked. Oh, Jesus, mister. Oh, RIP. Let the record show I wasn't pushing him. I think that made this car to be underappreciated. And to a certain extent it made sense, because if it didn't have amazing acceleration, by the time that this car was released and I pro'd it and I used it a bunch and whatnot, yeah, I was like, well, it cannot accelerate them, so is it really worth the 1772 rank? Just like those other big cars, you know, by big I mean the big performers. And yeah, in that sense it cannot compete. But like I said, it's good at other things that those other cars aren't. But when there was no ghosting at the start of the races, what would happen is that, well, if you got bad luck, you're just gonna get knocked down by one of those cars, and that is the end of the race, and RIP you. Thus, terrible car, this car is Garbo. But it's not really like that, it's not that simple. Alright, we got defeated of all things by a 4GT Mark II, two Apollo Evos, there's the Diablo, man. Beautiful cars, exclusively beautiful cars in this race. Look at that, I love this car, I love this car, I love this car, I love this car, and this car is pretty good in terms of look, so I'm surprised that it ended in dead last, but hey, you know what? I'm not judging. Whoa! Whoa! Okay, lady with textures blurry looks a little bit demonic. Anyway, so yeah, now that there's ghosting at the start of the races and you don't get knocked down in the first 5 seconds, this allows the cars to build to its top speed and from there show what this car really is about, which is the rest of the stats. You know, again, acceleration might not be amazing, but the good handling with the good nitro, with the good drift, you know, all of that stuff makes it to be a pretty good car overall. And in fact, I've been using this car quite a bit in multiplayer. You know, it has been a very rare car because it was a racing pass car, if I remember correctly, during the Lambo season when we got like 5 new Lambos. And I think not a lot of people were interested on it because, as usual, as I always complain about, people are extremely focused exclusively on Class S cars. It's like, oh, it's not Class S, then I don't care. And yeah, I think not a lot of people went for this car. I went for it because obviously it's a Lambo. I was going to go for it, and I was happy to do it. But it had been a very, very rare car precisely for that, because people didn't care for it. And I use it a lot in multiplayer, and I've been getting a lot of good results with this car in multiplayer, especially once Ghost was introduced, because I'm telling you, it is a very good car. It doesn't out-accelerate the Kings for sure, but so long as you manage to build your speed and then drive it right, thanks to this good handling, thanks to the really good nitro, thanks to all of that stuff, it makes this to be a really strong car. Now, I imagine that we're going to be seeing this car more and more because it is available through, look at that, first place back! We're getting this car now again through the Racing Pass, which is a much better Racing Pass, to be honest, where you can get this car, you can get the, what else? The Aston Martin Vantage something something, the Frangivento Sorpasso and all of that stuff. So yeah, I can see much more people buying this current Racing Pass and acquiring the Diablo GT. So I think we're gonna start seeing it a bit more, so long as it's not spam. It's not that super strong that it's gonna be spam, I don't think so, but it's gonna be nice to see it from time to time. All right, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful first place with my beautiful Lamborghini Diablo. Now, I'm making a lot of emphasis on calling it beautiful, but I do understand that a lot of people don't find this car super appealing. Now, granted, this is the Diablo GT, which is a further modified version from the original Diablo, or the Diablo SB, which is my straight-up favorite version of the Diablo. But it's still a Diablo, and it preserves a lot of the Diablo in it, right? The look. But yeah, this car is unfortunately, it was in a very bad spot where not a lot of people found appreciation for it, at least not from... Well, I do imagine there's a lot of people that do like this Diablo, depending when you grew up, when you were paying attention, but in general, this car, I think it's overlooked because it's sandwiched between two incredibly iconic Lambos, the Countach, the old Countach from the 70s, 80s, you know, super iconic because, oh my god, it was so crazy looking and whatnot, right? And then, after the Diablo, there was also the Murcielago, which became an incredibly everybody's favorite car for some reason. Again, to each their own, right? So this car found itself sandwiched between those two models, and granted, this was active, this car was out there for like 10 years or something. So there's definitely a lot of people that do like this car, but nowadays I think you see a lot more people, oh god, I'm driving terrible. You see a lot more people talking about Countach or Murciélagos than the Diablo. So poor Diablo, it is I like it a lot, alright? I do understand that it's not to everybody's taste, but it is like a Countach but with less sharpy edges and keeping, this was the second card that committed to having the wedge shape. The first one was the Countach, this one was the second. So it was actually, in that sense, regarding the wedge of the Lambos, this is super important because the original version of the Diablo, original design did not have the wedge. It would look very different in the backside. It wasn't until Chrysler, I think it was already owned by Chrysler, they were like, no, we like the shape, the wedge, let's keep the wedge shape. And yeah, they kept it. And then that wedge shape became iconic for Lamborghini. So if any car needs some thanking for it, of course, is the Countach for introducing it, and this one for sticking with it, making it the Lambo shape. But alright, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do, hit the like button, all of that good stuff, and first place, love it! I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!